How's it going? This is Champ Focus, and I'm Gambino. We got about an hour before the fight, the card starts, so I'm gonna make it quick. We'll start with Jillian Robertson versus Priscilla Cortera. Let's get down here. I got Jillian Robertson winning. The bets that I'm liking on here are the. A second. Hmm? It was kind of a hard line to pick out of since Jillian Robertson was hammered, and a lot of people are thinking she's gonna get a rear naked choke here. If you have her getting a choke in the second round, that's a plus 450. Um, what's up, boy? Come on. Um, let's see. Let's look at this one more time. I do think Jillian wins this inside the distance. I don't have. I like the under 2.5. It's at a minus 150. I think that's a better line than Jillian's, and it covers both of the girls. If Priscilla's going to get a knockout, it's not going to be in the third round. It's probably going to be in the second. Yeah, and then yeah, that's all I got for that fight. Jillian will have the creative takedowns, has a good level change, good scrambles, good pressure with her wrestling. Has basically fought um, a younger version of Priscilla in Poliana. She's gonna a good enough striker to control the distance and lure her opponent into her range where she could level change and get her takedowns. And when she once she gets her takedown, she stays active, ground and pounds into submissions, works her way into dominant positions. I like Jillian Robertson here to win. On to the next fight, Randy Costa. Sorry about that, my dog. I'm crazy over here. Randy Costa versus Tony Kelly. This is Tony Kelly's second fight in the UFC at bantamweight at the 135-pound weight class, and he looked pretty good. He's doesn't look as explosive or as athletic as Randy Costa. I'm picking Tony Kelly, by the way. Um, I like him. I like Tony Kelly to win by pretty much any way, any type of way. If you think the fight goes the distance, that's a. Oh no. The my pick is Tony Kelly. The best way to bet him is straight up. Um, but I like that this fight completes 2 rounds. That's a plus 125, and I think that's the bet for this fight in particular. I think Tony Kelly makes it through the first round, where Randy Costa is the most dangerous. and then takes over from there. And he's going to have the grappling edge. They will both be lengthy fighters. They'll both be able to use their distance. It's just about who can use it more consistently throughout the fight. And I think Tony Kelly would be the person to do that. Randy Costa in the first round or second is a plus 100. Like I said, I like that would be my bet for Randy, but my bet would be Tony Kelly. I do think he wins inside the distance at a plus 325. So that's pretty nasty. Randy Costa is a quitter. He's nice with it. He's nice with it, but he's just shown that he will quit. So, and what I've seen out of Tony Kelly is that he will not. He will be there the entire fight. So, I like Tony Kelly there. Ryan Hall versus Derek Minner. This is a hard pick because it's more of a fade on Ryan Hall. It's similar to the last fight. It's more of a fade on Randy Costa just because I've seen him quit. And that would disappoint me a ton more to bet on Costa and have him quit on me than bet on Tony Kelly and he fights his heart out and loses a decision. But which I can't see Randy being able to do. So on to the next fight. Ryan Hall versus Derek Minner. Ryan Hall circles the whole cage, hands down, no takedowns. He just looks to drag his opponent to the floor. Has no combos, single strikes, slow. He's all technique, no athleticism, spinning hook kicks. And then in his last fight, he went night. He was out. He did not know where he was, who he was talking to, what year it was. He probably thinks he's just getting out of the doctor. I mean, he's got no strikes in close quarters. When he's in close quarters, he wants to clinch. He wants to in a Mario, or he wants to roll around on the floor and take you down. Very grapple heavy attack. While Derek Minner, this is one of the fights you just don't bet on because Derek Minner should win in my opinion. He is the more explosive fighter. Let me change this real quick. Between the two, he is he the younger fighter? I believe he is. Ryan Hall's 36, 31. He is the younger fighter. He's started training with James Cross. Maybe he did have a good performance against Charles Rosa. Took it a decision. He's got active feet. He's going to be the faster fighter. He's going to have the power advantage. It's just his ring IQ is a little low. So that definitely scares me. But he's got the aggression. It's just about timing that aggression right against Ryan Hall. I think if he doesn't have to not go to the floor with Ryan Hall. I just think he needs to pick his moments and not end up on the floor. Just without any actual game plan, just falling on top of Ryan Hall is going to end up with you getting submitted. So I like Derek Minner here, just straight up at a plus 160. But if you're having a hard time picking between the two, I don't like Derek Minner's IQ, so I like the under 1.5 at a plus 120 because anything can happen. And I think if Derek Minner ends up in Ryan Hall's guard and somehow on the floor, then he gets submitted either right away or he's able to get through like Derek Elkins, but he'll get the win. So I like Derek Minner here. All right, next fight we got Aaron Blanchfield versus Miranda Maverick. Aaron Blanchfield, I believe, started off as the favorite and is now the underdog. I love to see that because I got her winning this fight. Miranda Maverick, I would say they have her more recency bias. She is good. She is real good. And really, she lost that fight to Macy Barber because Macy Barber was able to put her up against the fence and control her in that third round. And it just seemed like I've seen it out of Miranda where she will just lay on her back, where she will just let opponents control her. It happened in the Jillian Robertson fight, and it also happened in the Macy Barber fight. She comes in southpaw, constant bounce, uses her feet. She will have the better striking defense between the two ladies here. Erin Blanchfield does not move her head and does not. She switches her feet, but for offensive purposes, not necessarily to evade punches. She's moving forward, crashing the pocket, clenching up. She to me seems very well rounded. I really like what I saw out of Erin Blanchfield. Um, Very aggressive, constantly just very active. Um, she does have her like I said, her striking defense isn't the best. Since she walks forward, she tends to walk into some punches. Doesn't always bring her hands back up. She has the 1-2. I think she will have the output. She'll be able to. She'll have the volume edge here. Um, is really good in the scrambles. She outworks her opponents for scrambles. Miranda Maverick loses in those little wars, those little battles. Um, she's got an amazing pace. Erin Blanchfield does. She uses her feints to draw her opponent's powers, her opponent's strikes out, so she can make her reads. She's got good speed for not necessarily using her feet a whole lot. And Miranda, she, she keeps her distance. She reads the takedowns. She also uses her feints to cut the distance so she can get inside that pocket and land her combos. She's got good top pressure. She has a double leg takedown. Um, she's very measured in her attacks. She doesn't fall into the pocket. She keeps her distance. Um, she likes to be the bully. I can't really see her as a finisher. It doesn't really appear to me like she's trying to get the finish. She does have hard hits, so the finish appears, and that's what happens. But I believe Miranda's bigger goal is to just win, while Erin, I believe, goes for the finish. She has a sense of urgency. I like what I see out of her. So I'm going with Erin Blanchfield. Moving on up the card. 4 fights done. 5 on my fifth fight. We got Andre Munoz versus Eric Anders. I am picking Andre Muniz. He's aggressive. He pushes forward, uses his calf kick, blitzes into the pocket, goes for takedowns, body lock trip takedowns, goes for the back, has good control, has ground and pound into subs, very active, looking to create danger, can lay on his back a little bit too much. Really, he's similar to Damian Maia or even an Nate Diaz in that, where he will just throw himself on his back, looking for something, which can be pretty annoying. No, us knowing that referees don't like to see that. Has a double leg takedown, so he's gonna have wrestling. You don't get to see a whole lot of that out of jiu-jitsu practitioners, but you will be seeing that out of Andre. And he empties out the gas tank. He goes for broke in his fights. Not right off the bat, but at the end of his fight, this man will be tired. And to me, he seems like the man with he can win in any way. He can win by decision. He can win by finish. So I like him to win inside the distance. I'm sure everybody does. But the thing is Eric Anders has never been finished. So I think the bet here is yes, the fight goes the distance at a plus 170, and you cover both your fighters. And if you're gonna hedge, I think Eric Anders can't win by decision. I think he only wins inside the distance, and that's a plus 275. On to the next fight. My pick is Andre Munoz, like I said. Between Andre Munoz and Eric Anders, it's Andre Munoz. On to the next fight, we got Jordan Wright versus Bruno Silva. This is another hard fight here. Bruno Silva, ridiculously high favorite considering his last fight. He potentially was on his way to losing that fight before he knocked out Andrew Sanchez. He's got decent defensive grappling, heavy ground and pound. He can be outworked for in the scrambles, and in his debut he bullied the hell out of Thurman. He's a southpaw. He rips the body. His hands are a little low for my liking. He doesn't keep them up, so his head is there to be open or to get kicked. And Jordan Wright, you saw what he did to Ike Villanueva, so that's a little scary. He can be held down when flat on his back. This fight will be a standing affair, though. He fights with a sense of urgency. That's something I really like. Jordan Wright fights with the sense of surviving. I mean, you saw that a lot in his Fluffy Hernandez fight, in his Joaquin Buckley fight. He's trying to survive. He's staying on the outside. He's light on his feet. He's using his feints. He's got good knees in the clinch. He can be bullied. He wants to stay on the outside. He fights behind his kicks. Not a whole lot of combos with his hands. He also keeps his hands down, and he has a hard time dealing with direct pressure. Somebody just coming right at him, not caring about what he's got to throw. He's got a variety of looks as far as types of strikes. But to me, he's a feast or famine type of fighter, similar to Randy Costa. It's either going to happen in fantastic fashion, or he's going down. So I got Bruno Silva here. He seemed to show more resilience, the ability to stay in a fight even when he's behind on the scorecards. He had pretty good cardio and in a grappling heavy match. So I like Bruno Silva here to take the win. I like the over 1.5 at a plus 125. I know Jordan Wright can get knocked out, but come on, Jordan Wright, at least last 1.5 rounds. Let's make it to the third or halfway or 3/4 of the way down in the second. Because, I mean, the line is ridiculous. Unless you got Jordan Wright. And the line isn't so bad, you would just bet Jordan Wright straight up. Okay, moving on to the next fight. We got Augusto Sakai versus Tuivasa. My pick is going to be Augusto Sakai, but my bet is this fight goes two full rounds at a plus 110. I like Augusto. He uses his feints. Both of these fighters are very alike, actually. But I think Augusto has fought someone similar to Ty as far as his career before entering the UFC. I believe he was a kickboxer, and Augusto fought Overeem, and against Overeem he had a lot of good moments against Overeem up until the very end, and really lost because of grappling. And this happens to be both of these fighters' kryptonite. So I like Augusto here. He seems to keep his range a little better. Tai Tuivasa falls into the clinch a lot, and he doesn't necessarily have a very good clinch, while Augusto has really good strikes from the clinch, and he's good with his tight clinch. He knocked out Marcin Tybura with that. He uses his feints. He jabs his way into the pocket, into his range. He's aggressive, but he stays measured in approach. He stays on the outside till his opponent gets wobbled. Good use of his left hand. Keeps his feet active throughout the fight. Fights behind leg kicks and jab. Will put the opponent on the fence to win control points. Right hand down, which when he's throwing heavy left hands. So it can be it's going to be a little scary when he's fighting because he's sorry, getting a little distracted there. Because he's going to keep his hands down sometimes, and Ty's going to have openings to be able to throw his punches. And if given the opportunity, we'll drop Stipe on it when yeah, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I got Augusto Sakai here. I like the bet at this fight completes 2 full rounds. I would bet Augusto straight up. That would be my bet. Tuivasa, though, he's light on his feet as well. He's got good. He will have the speed advantage. And he likes to fall into the clinch a lot, which is where I think Augusto is going to have a lot of success. He doesn't seem to maintain the same range that Augusto is good at maintaining. And since in his past couple fights, to me, this is his real test. While Augusto has been fighting, he's proven to me he's fighting real contenders, real fighters. He loves the calf kick, uses his feints. This is definitely. I can see why this is a stalemate on the line. Why it's even odds, because I can see where they see Ty being successful, but I think Augusto has been fighting the harder opponents, and his last fight, he took a beating. He definitely took a beating, but it was on the ground. It was all groundwork that beat the crap out of him. So I like Augusto straight up here, or the fight completes 2 full rounds. I like that too at a +110. On to the next fight. We got Pedro Munoz versus Dominic Cruz. I'm going with Dominic Cruz. And I got him winning by 3-round decision at a +125. Dominic Cruz, everybody knows Dominic Cruz. He's got the ability to get takedowns, constant movement, very active, scrambles, loves when opponents' power shot will swing and he makes them move. He makes them miss. When he's moving backwards, he does tend to leave his hands down. He's very hit and move. That's his whole game plan. He's hitting you, and he's trying to be gone when you try to hit him. He loves the overhand left. He jabs with both hands. Dangerous with pretty much all his weapons, being the right and the left side. And he makes the opponents fight at his pace. He mesmerizes them. He hypnotizes them. He just constantly going back and forth, and they're having to follow him, trot forward. He's constantly giving different looks, confusing his opponents, making them second guess what they're gonna do because they don't want to get countered. He's constantly evading with angles. Not only does it help him defensively, but it helps him offensively. He gets new openings as he's changing these angles. He needs to avoid those calf kicks, which he will be getting from Pedro. I think if this was a 5-round event, those calf kicks would matter a little more, but I'm banking on the fact that this is a 3-round event, and Dominic will be able to control the amount of times he get those land and pull off a decision win here. He does sometimes stay in the pocket, and his neck has definitely stiffened up throughout the years. But I just think Dominic's going to be too aggressive, too much of an elite fighter, and he knows his opponent in and out. Dominic leaves it all on the cage. Dominic Cruz also commentated on the last 3 of Pedro's 4 last fights, so I believe Dominic's very well versed in who Pedro and what he likes to do. Pedro is heavy with the calf kicks. His attacks, heavy with the calf kick attack. Has nasty guillotines, no feints. Can worry about what his opponent's about to do next. That's what Dominic's going to be doing. He's going to be, as he was against Frankie Edgar, just watching his opponent. He ends up following a lot, and he's not necessarily very fast. His footwork is what McGregor would say, stuck in the mud. He wants to land bombs. He himself is open to calf kicks, and he just doesn't have as much variety as Dominic Cruz. He's going to be very predictable. He gives up on the takedown defense with his guillotine. When somebody's trying to take him down, he'll go for a guillotine, and therefore gives up the takedown. I like Dominic Cruz by decision, but I think Dominic Cruz has more ways to win. So I like the under 2.5 at a +180. If you think Pedro could pull off a knockout for some reason, I think Dominic Cruz could get a finish as well. So the under 2.5, I think that's a good bet. And now we got Josh Emmett versus Dan Egay. I'm going with Josh Emmett. I like Josh Emmett. He's very composed. He's an in and out bounce inside to lure his opponents into his range, circles, uses defense, switches his stance. He's fast, powerful, counter right. Elbows from top position, good use of feints to draw his opponent into his range and make reads. He was put down by a left hook counter. That's right, by Jeremy Stevens. He put his hands down and his eyes down, and Jeremy took a hop step forward and landed that left on him. So that's a little scary. I have seen Dan Egay throw a similar punch. He will be the fighter with more volume in his exchanges, as Josh Emmett is tops. He'll give you 2 punches per exchange. He definitely picks his shots, but he's active, constantly moving, looking for counters. When he becomes too much of a counter striker, his volume does get a little low, especially when he's fighting like a long range fighter with the same footwork that he has. He has to pick his shots, and he shows that in his Michael Johnson fight, where he stiffens him up at the very end. He potentially could have been losing that fight and then knocks him out right at the end. So, but I think this would be more like the Shane Burgos fight. I think Dan Egay's tough enough to withstand all 3 rounds. So I like Josh Emmett by decision at a +150. And under 2.5 here is +155. I don't see Dan Egay winning by decision. So even with his volume, I think Josh Emmett puts Dan Egay on his ass a couple of times. I don't think he knocks him out. I just think Dan Egay, he touches the mat a couple of times. And so that's why I like Josh Emmett to win by decision. But if anybody is going to get the knockout, I think it's going to be Dan Egay. So I like that under 2.5 as a little hedge and also covers me because Josh Emmett is definitely capable of a knockout. Very powerful. So the under 2.5 is a good bet, but I like Josh Emmett by decision here. On to the next. Sean O'Malley versus Raulian Paiva. When this in the beginning of the week, I was leaning more Paiva. I don't know if I'm a Sean O'Malley hater. I don't believe I am. I just think when I saw that Marlon Vera fight, I thought I saw Sean O'Malley quit, and he kind of did. His defense on the floor seems suspect. It's besides that, I don't think he necessarily lost against Marlon Vera. He made a mistake at the end of that round and pursued Marlon Vera, and he should have just lost the round and gone to his corner and hoped that his nerve or his leg would have came back to life. But instead, he got TKO'd. It could have been a Dr. Stoppage. Cue in Conor McGregor clip right here. Dr. Stoppage. So I do like Sean O'Malley, and I like Raulian to be tough enough to withstand a beatdown. So I like Sean O'Malley in the third round or decision. So it's third round or decision plus 150. Because if Sean O'Malley's gonna get a KO here, I'm thinking it's at the very end. I guess, yeah. So maybe you're not too confident in that pick. Maybe you believe both of these fighters could win a decision. Yes, the fight goes the distance is a plus 120. I believe that's another good bet here on this for this fight. And then if you believe Raulian has a way of winning, I would assume it's inside the distance. But yeah, I would just bet him straight up. But inside the distance is a plus 425 since he was talking about TKOing him in the second. So let's start with Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley, low kicks, switches stances as he pushes the pocket. He can switch stances, kicks, knees, rips the body with kicks. His striking defense is good. Constant of feet movement. Yeah, the striking defense on his back is minimal. He doesn't scramble. He let Marlon Vera slam him in the head with an elbow. I mean, Kyler was constantly scrambling with Raulian. That is a difficult name to say. Paiva. So that's the scary part here is that all the wrestling and grappling you saw in his last fight, but Sean O'Malley's going to stay on the outside. Sean O'Malley isn't going to fall in or even consider grappling with Paiva. Kyler Phillips, I believe, has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm sure he was more than willing and excited to take it to the ground. Sean O'Malley will keep this striking. I would say Sean O'Malley's 60% kicks, 40% hands, constantly moving. He's gonna make Paiva miss, and I think that's gonna frustrate Paiva. So my pick is Sean O'Malley, and I like this bet here, the third or decision plus 150. Next, we got Kykar France versus Cody Garbrandt. My pick for this bet is going to be Kykar France. I think Kai could win multiple ways here. I think they've both fought good competition here. Kai has fought the current champ in his weight division. This is Cody Garbrandt's first fight at bantamweight, and I'm having a hard time picking him considering he's lost 4 out of his last 5. And his best win to date is Rafael Sansao. And I just feel like Kykar France has been impressive, and he has been the favorite in every single one of these fights, except this one. And it's with the guy that hasn't even fought in his weight class. He was a favorite against Brandon Royval. I don't understand how you're a favorite against someone so much bigger than you, but not against someone like Cody. And Kai was doing pretty good against Brandon Royval up until the guillotine. So I like Kai Car France here. I would just bet him straight up. If Cody's winning, I don't think he knocks out Kai. I think Kai is tough. So my hedge bet would be yes, this fight goes the distance at a plus 120. Oh, next on the card, gotta make this quick. 17 more minutes. We got Jeff Neal or Joff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. We got 13-4 versus 28-4. Jeff Neal, straight out of a DUI and 2 losses to Steven and Neil Magny, who I believe Santiago has beat. And it was a dominant whooping. It was a dominant beating. I like Santiago here. I got him to win. He uses his footwork, but he can lose it a bit when he gets stuck in these wars where, like with Mike Perry, where he's just standing right in front of Mike Perry instead of using his footwork, and he made the fight closer than it should have. He uses his calf kicks. He uses the whole cage. He's got a good pace and rate. He exhausts his opponents with the bloody war. He checks the low kicks. He does leave his left hand down when going for a heavy right. He uses his hands to parry and his feet to slide away from punches. That's something I really like. I like Santiago's striking defense. I know he got knocked out, but he was a step behind in that fight, and I'm thinking he's adjusted, retuned everything, especially with that Miguel Baeza fight. He's got good feints when he's hunting. He's a stick and move type of fighter. There seems to be a lot of fighters like this on here. And once the ball is rolling, once he's starting to see himself enter a flow state, he really piles those punches up, and he's got really good cardio. And he just never seems out of a fight. I haven't seen him get dominated. The only time I saw him, I guess, out of a fight is when he was asleep. But besides that, I like Santiago here. I like this fight goes 2 full rounds at a plus 105. And if you got Jeff, I think he wins. He's got to knock Santiago out. I think Santiago's going to have more volume. He's going to make Jeff miss more. So I like Santiago here, and if my hedge would have to be Jeff inside the distance at a plus 165. Jeff throws looping hooks. He's got a straight left, and he's got power in that left. He's a southpaw, wants to bully and box his opponents. Difficult to take down. Strikes are set up for left hand. So his left hand is really what I saw as being his most effective weapon. I didn't see a whole lot of anything else. He does have a left kick, but I didn't see a whole lot of consistent usage of it. He's got medium to low output. He himself can become mesmerized in what his opponent is doing. Very slow. He's mostly flat-footed. He does mostly flat-footed. He does have a little bounce to his step, but a lot of the time he's just trotting forward. He wants to fight going forward. So if he's having a fight on his heel, he's not going to do a good job. He does have a body lock takedown. And then in the clinch, he just holds down. He doesn't, unlike Felicia Spencer, Felicia Spencer, Raquel Pennington, they're in the clinch and they're hitting you. So I like Santiago here. The bet would be the fight completes 2 full rounds at a plus 105, or Santiago straight up at a minus 130. On to the next fight. We got not a whole lot of time left. Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena. I just like to say before the fight started, Juliana Pena is impressed me. Watching film on her impressed me. She has brought the fight to a lot of fighters. To Valentina Shevchenko, made her work for it. She uses a lot of pressure. Relentless wrestling, can be taken down and out wrestled when she's on bottom, but she does look for subs while she's in on bottom. She doesn't necessarily have the best double leg takedown. So from what I saw, she was trying to drag her opponents down using a clinch and then trips. She's got smart grappling, but not in the first round. Her first round just seemed terrible. Smart grappling decisions. Does have a submission defense that she uses to get to change her position and get a more dominant position. Her grappling can be pretty grueling, and she's an opportunist with her takedowns. She's more looking for opportunity than using her explosiveness to make something happen. She'll have a bad first round, and then she'll return it in the second. She knows how to get up from the mat, but likes to stay on her back. She steps forward no matter who it is, and she doesn't seem to have a whole lot of footwork. Amanda Nunes will have the advantage here when it comes to footwork. She's definitely a live by the sword, die by the sword type of fighter. She's grappling heavy. She's trying to go for submissions, and in the process of doing that, she herself gets submitted. So, but I like Juliana Pena. I do like her, but I still got her losing. I got Amanda Nunes here. Don't get it wrong. Amanda Nunes here, the GOAT, as some might say. She's just more powerful. I think as far as the wrestling is definitely going to be a bit of an issue here for Amanda. I don't think it's going to be a first round knockout like everybody expects, which is why I like this round completing 2 full rounds at a plus 130. I think that's a great bet. If you want to get crazy, Amanda by 5th round TKO, that's a plus 1800. But I don't think Juliana wins here. And if you're going to pick her, you bet it straight up. There's no other way around it. So that would be the hedge, betting her straight up. But I like, yes, this round completes 2 full rounds, and that's another way of hedging there. Plus 130, baby. Look it up. On to the next. We got Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier. And I'm picking Charles Oliveira here. Both of these fighters are very dangerous. Both of them have had a long journey to this point. But I think Charles is the hungrier dog here. I think Dustin has been paid off. He's reached his goals without having to be the champ. At this point, being the champion is more of an ego stroke. While Charles Oliveira, I don't believe he's making the type of money Dustin is. So I think Charles will be the hungrier fighter here. I think being the champ means a lot to Charles Oliveira. I believe you also be the lengthier fighter. He's just dangerous with we've seen Dustin get choked out. I know it was by Khabib, but Charles Oliveira has the most submissions in UFC history. So I'm going with Charles Oliveira here straight up. I do like the over 2.5 at a plus 105. That seemed to be the best bet I could find out there. Or Charles Oliveira straight up. Um, yeah, he's Charles got good body kicks, like Yair Rodriguez like kicks, jumping front kicks. He's a nasty grappler. Stays very active throughout the whole fight. Constantly active. Has long ranged attacks. He will catch the kick and then have a straight punch counter for it. Dangerous anywhere on the ground, on his back, sideways, on his head. It don't matter. Dude will find a way to submit you. He knows how to get up, but his issue is going to be similar to Juliana's, where he just doesn't mind staying on his back. Similar to Andre Munoz as well. He can be kept on his back, or at least he doesn't mind it. But he's very active on it. He's got a heavy calf kick, so those calf kicks Dustin likes to use. He will be dealing with them coming his way. And we saw Connor having a lot of success with the kicks against Dustin. And Charles Oliveira is a kicker, so he will be using those kicks. Oliveira uses space and footwork to evade punches, not necessarily. Doesn't move his head a whole lot. His head is there to be hit when he's inside the pocket. He's definitely a grappler striker, or rather than a striker that learned grappling. He's got very smart grappling. Um, he's got a nasty left hook, and he's gonna have good speed and the grappling edge, I believe. Dustin Poirier steps in, smooth stance switches, fast or slow with his switch. So he'll either step in nice and slow, methodical like, or he'll make you miss and switch quick, thunderously quick. Um, Prefers to be in southpaw, good combos inside the pocket. So once he gets stuck in the pocket, he's not quick enough with his feet to evade. So he'll just throw a couple combos and work his way out. He's dangerous with both of his hands. But he's more dangerous with quantity. It's an accumulation of punches, not one punch that's gonna put you out. He rips the body, good work to the body, which opens up the head. Um, but late in the later rounds, his grappling gets a little sloppy. He's got a good right hook from the southpaw stance. Uses calf kick, and he does follow a game plan. That's something I really like about Dustin. You see it. His fights are always a little different because he's got a game plan. He's got combos. He'll be the capable wrestler with ground and pound active, but his ground and pound activity could leave him open to subs. I like Charles Oliveira here. He's the champion. You're getting the champ at plus odds. I don't see why you wouldn't bet Charles, even if he loses. He's the champion. How often do you get the champion at plus odds? Not very often. Only if you're Volkanovski against Max Holloway. So yeah, those are my picks. Start from right here. We got Jillian, Tony, Derek, Aaron, Munoz, Bruno, Augusto, Dominique, Josh, Sean, Kykar of France, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Amanda Nunes, and Charles Oliveira. Those are my picks. I'm Gambino. This is Champs Focus. Oh man, over here. See, people are actually writing stuff down, huh? And you're right, though, Chills. Does come down to the chin with Ponzinibbio, but I think he'll do a good job to evade. But yeah, that's it. I'll end it here. I'll post another video after the fights. I'll do a recap on this one and last week's fights. All right. Peace out.